Hi, my name is Matt. I'm the founder of Pedovera. This week, I'm teaching you how to hire and train salespeople so you can focus on the big picture. Hi, once again, my name is Matt from Pedovera. We are your web marketing partner on demand, and we specialize in sales funnel design. Okay, so hiring and training salespeople is usually the last thing that entrepreneurs and small business owners end up delegating and handing off within their business. And it's a really big leap because for many reasons, many small business owners believe, okay, it's really difficult for me to trust someone to do it themselves and to do it well. You know, who else can learn the product or know the service as well as I do? Who else cares about the details as much as I do? Where am I going to find a person like that? And you know, who's going to have as much experience as you, right? But the pain point here is that your time is finite and the business can't grow to be a mature business. In other words, a business that can exist without you, can stand up on its own 2 feet, instead of being a whining child that's always going to just want more and more of your attention and time and energy. It will never get to that point where it's running and growing on its own unless you can delegate this last, final, and very important piece. And this is something that I've gone through in the past repeated times, so I have experience with it, and it's something that I'm progressively going through now with Pedovera. And the pain point, again, is that your time is finite, and as your business grows and you make more sales, that comes with more responsibilities, and more things are going to require your time. You can't be the only salesperson in your business, right? So who's going to get on the phone if your time is limited and your business wants to grow? Well, you got to delegate it to someone else. You got to find someone else to do it for you. And the truth is that there is no magic bullet and there's no special, super talented, amazing person out there who's going to be able to do it for you. You need to kind of put your own experience, your own care for the details into the business. You need to transplant it into someone else's mind, right? So how do we do that, right? Well, I talk a little bit in the article here, if you read it in full, about the process I went through and how amazing it feels when you finally get someone else to begin closing sales for you. It's kind of a sense of relief, of freedom, where you as the business owner, you were able to finally focus on the bigger picture. And when I first started out, I went through this phase of just, without knowing, just completely sucking. I didn't really know what I didn't know at the time. I said, hey, to whoever I was working with in my first business, you want to go door to door and, sell these coupon ads? Okay, go do it, right? And that was about 10 years ago when I first started. Phase two, I learned a little bit and I said, hey, let me, train you. Let me show you how I do it. So let's go do it together and then you can do it. So that was a little bit better. And finally, phase three, figuring it out. So this is where I'm at right now, where, I've had some success in the past with training and delegating sales to others, with creating a system. We have our own system here already set up. And right now, we're training one of our content writers to actually be our lead salesperson. And then as we get more leads, we'll bring on more salespeople. In phase four, this is really the golden or the promised land where every business owner wants to get to as far as delegating sales effectively, where everything is streamlined, systemized, and automated, right? And that's our goal in 2015 is to really to get there. So when I first got that call, my sales rep telling me, this was actually towards the start of the business, that he had made his first sale of $1,000 and he'd done it completely independent of me, outside of the training that I had given him to help him to get to that point. That was a big step, but the problem was that it wasn't like a consistent thing. So I'm going to talk about why that was the case and how you can avoid it in a minute. But obviously, just to reiterate the benefits, you're going to save time, you're going to make more money, your business is going to be able to grow without you, and your overall happiness will increase because, again, you can focus on the bigger picture. So what's the first step? The first step is to understand, is your business even ready to hire a salesperson? You know, are you already even at that point where you're ready to actually begin handing off leads that are coming into your business for someone else to own and take over, right? You know, because the consequence of doing that too early are that your business could lose a substantial amount of revenue and have, you know, a couple of bad months until, you know, your salesperson either ramps up or quits, and then you're really in a bind. You have to go back to work yourself and you have to work harder than ever just to catch up to where you were before. So you need to be in a place where you already have a lead generation system in place. And this is a very common mistake that a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs make. It's that they want salespeople to not only close deals, but also to generate sales. And this is important because expecting people to do both or working on like a straight commission basis, it's just not realistic. You know, maybe there's some flukes out there where, you know, small businesses are able to build up to a certain point like that. Maybe they provided equity or some sort of bonus incentive package. But generally speaking, that is very difficult to do because those types of people who will actually tell you, oh yeah, you know, I'll work on commission, sure, you know, I can go find business and close deals. Unless you have an amazing system already in place where you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to get results if they follow it step by step for finding the leads, and it's easy, otherwise you're not going to get results. So don't expect to. So to understand if you're in the right place, you need to ask yourself these questions. Do you have enough traffic already inbound? Do you have that lead generation system already set up so that you can still be the lead salesperson within the business while your sales team and your first salesperson begins to ramp up? You know, is everything else in your business running relatively smoothly so that you can focus on offloading this final key piece and delegating it to someone else and training them to do it? And finally, have you adopted a systems mindset? Okay, this is similar to the engineer's mindset, which I've written about in the past and I link to in this article, so you can read about that. But basically, a systems mindset is one where you see the value in documenting your business systems as a way to hand off to others who are going to come in and help you run your business. Okay. So step 2, we want to create the training process. You want to map out exactly what are those steps for a salesperson to take a lead from that first step all the way to the final step where they're actually going to get a purchase decision from the client. Now, as you're kind of mapping out this process, you want to kind of be, you know, again, in that systems focused mindset where you're outside, or you're picturing yourself outside and slightly elevated so that you're seeing every problem or repetitive sales task rather, that you're doing within your business as an opportunity to document a solution. So again, you can do this in a Google Sites. That's what we use to kind of document our systems here at Petovera. You can record videos, you can add screenshots as well to illustrate, but ultimately it's all about organizing the information and the knowledge and the experience that you already have and putting it somewhere where someone else can easily learn it, okay, and then take that and act on it. So step 3, after you've created that documentation, which can include checklists, okay, checklists are great because it's not just about explaining, but it's actually an actionable document that says, okay, you have to remember all these things, and if you do all these things here in this interactive checklist, then you're going to at least increase your chances of being successful dramatically. So don't forget about including checklists with the documentation. Step 3, again, recruit and train your sales team. So the most common problem here, getting back to that story that I was telling in the beginning, where I had that sales rep that came in early on in the business, made his first sale relatively quickly, is that turned out to be a fluke. Not in the sense that he couldn't have done it again and again, but that he wasn't a serious salesperson. He wasn't a serious member of our team. And that's why I write here about the importance of recruiting and seeking out serious people, people who are diligent and conscientious in the way that they carry out their work. Okay, because many salespeople are what I call career salespeople, where they're not necessarily serious. They're kind of bouncing around from company to company, always working in sales, but for whatever reason, their personality is such that even if they do have a natural talent for sales, they're not going to stick with you for the long term, right? So it's important to find someone who's going to be a fit with your company, with your culture, with your mission, with what you're selling, right? Someone who you're going to enjoy working, and someone who's going to be there for the long term, not someone who's just looking for kind of a one-off and then I'm going to leave type of situation, not someone who is really desperate for income and is really going to leave as soon as they find a better offer somewhere else. Okay, so you need people who are serious, and one of the best ways to find serious people, since many career salespeople are not serious, is you want to look at what are the positions in your company that are surrounding the sales position. For example, in our business, it would be content writers, people who are writing blog posts other than myself on our blog. So they have that knowledge of marketing. And second, project managers, people who are actually executing and implementing projects for our clients. So they also have that kind of service knowledge of how things are done. So this is important to recognize because it gives you more options as far as a pool of people to recruit from. Namely, these are not career salespeople, so that if that pool of people of career salespeople, if you can't find someone who is diligent and conscientious, you also have this other pool of people who might not necessarily think of themselves as salespeople, but they have that knowledge and that experience that's close enough where if your documentation is accurate and clear, you can hand it to them and they can be successful in making sales for you in your business. Okay, so once again, diligence and conscientiousness are the two best predictors of success in pretty much any job. And one of the ways that you want to test for that is by having in your training, the first time they're going through it, forms that they can fill out that serve as tests. So people actually have to take a test at each key milestone along the way when they're learning the system and they're learning the process. This helps you to get peace of mind that, okay, they're actually learning the material and they know what the process is, they know what the product is, they know what the target market is, they know what the benefits and the solution are, right? So they're more likely to be successful, and you're going to be weeding out those people who are not serious about actually learning the process and working with you. Okay, because chances are, if they're willing to go through those steps to learn your system, to learn about your product or your service, they're much more likely to stick with you for the long term and be diligent and follow up with leads and deliver to clients the information that they need in order to make a decision. Step 4, how to nurture and support your sales team. Okay, so you can expect there to be a 2-month ramp-up period where probably no sales are going to be made unless they already have sales experience, and unless the leads are already kind of like super qualified and your lead generation system is awesome. Expect that it's going to take a little bit of time for people to come in. I would say, 30 days and 100 leads. After people who come into your sales training system receive 100 leads, if they don't close a deal after that, then I think that's enough opportunity and they're out, right? So statistically, they should close a deal after 100 leads, but time-wise, you want to give them at least about a 2-month period to ramp up. And again, you shouldn't be pursuing this until you have enough leads already coming in where you have the wiggle room to start handing off some of those leads to your team. And to reiterate, during this ramp-up period, and even after they make their first sale, you have to keep in mind what your salespeople need to be successful, because they don't have all the experience and the hands-on knowledge that you do. So keep in mind this checklist here of the 7 things that they need to understand in order to be successful. For example, understand the service, how they will actually receive leads, how to follow up, what's the process, how compensation works, different tools and examples of how to use those tools and the resources that they can use to facilitate the sales process. And this is also really important. Understand how you're going to give them a sense of team. Because if you're a virtual company working in multiple locations like we are, how we facilitate a team atmosphere is by having face-to-face video conference calls over Google Plus or Skype, where it's not as good as meeting in person where we're all in the same room and we're collaborating, but it's still pretty good. And you get a sense of team and of community and of culture, and people don't feel alone. They don't feel like they're stuck on an island figuring it out for themselves. Okay, so again, you want to have this kind of teacher mindset, but also be holding people accountable on the merits. You don't want to be giving more leads to someone who isn't following up, who isn't taking action, and who isn't, following the process and the training that you've laid out for them. So be fair, but also be a supportive teacher. Give them what they need to be successful. And if you do, and they're still not successful, well then perhaps it's not a fit. Move on to the next person. Step number 5, work the system. And remember, it's an organic process. So all that I'm saying here in this final step is that after your salespeople have begun to make sales consistently, the final level that they get to is the ability to help you improve and maintain and manage that sales process in terms of the documentation around how sales are made, how deals are closed. And this is important because the more efficient and streamlined the training is for everyone, the bigger the end financial result for your company, the more efficiently you guys can grow. And clients will be happier too, because they'll finally get what they need, or at the very least they can efficiently and quickly be referred somewhere else if they're not the qualified lead. So again, work the system by continuously revising and adding to the existing training documentation and checklists. Finally, if you got value from this video and from this article, but you want more, you want to learn about the 10 tools that we recommend to help you sell like a machine, click the link in the article here to get access to that list of tools right now. And if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, we send a newsletter with valuable content just like this around sales funnels and content marketing, all types of great stuff to help you grow your business once a week. And we already have over 4,000 subscribers, so we'd love to have you be a part of the community as well. So you can click the subscribe now button on the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, so thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week.